So it turns out I kind of had it all wrong all along. Well, not entirely, but hear me out. I really used to believe that there were only 3 zones of experience: your comfort zone, your stretch zone, and your panic zone. The idea being the gross majority of people hang out here in their comfort zone, never really push themselves or try new things. And those that do get into their stretch zone where they're growing, they're learning, they're trying new things and experiencing a little bit more excitement before they get into their panic zone, which is where they try to jump too quickly, where they're learning how to run before they learn how to walk, signing up for the marathon before they've even bought their running shoes. And if you jump too fast, too far into your panic zone, well, chances are you're not going to necessarily set yourself up for success. And so the chances of you ever getting out of your comfort zone again get even smaller. Well, there is a new model that I was just introduced to by one of my coaches, and this one makes so much more sense. So I wanted to share it with you today. There are 4 zones in this model, and here they are. The familiar zone, where things are familiar. They're what you're used to, which is why 85% of the population hang out here and will probably never leave this familiar zone. The next zone is your fear zone. See, we used to sometimes think that in order to get where we wanted to go, we want to prevent ourselves from feeling the fear. Well, the next zone out is your fear zone. And this is where all of a sudden you're going to have second thoughts or you're going to self-doubt. All of those, what I call bravery killers, are really going to show their face in your fear zone because you're thinking about doing something you've never done before. But if you can push through your fear zone, you will get to the next zone, which is your learning zone. This is where you're trying new things, where you might not have everything go the right way, at least not the first time, but you're trying. You're testing things out. You're learning, you're falling, you're failing, but you're doing it again and again. And because of that, you are stretching yourself. And then finally, the next zone, the final zone out, is your growth zone. And when you make it to your growth zone, this is when all of a sudden you feel like you're living with greater purpose. When you're living out your dreams, you're trying new things, you're at places you never thought possible. And the fun thing about this model is that once you're all of a sudden here in your growth zone, you get new ideas to try new things. And then you start again back in your familiar zone because what was once your growth zone has now become your new familiar zone, and you go through that process again. But where I want to spend a moment of time is to help you see that in order to get to your learning and your growth zone, you have to push through your fear zone. And so many of us, myself included, are afraid of fear. We don't like it. We're afraid of the unknown. We're afraid of failure. We're afraid of success. We're afraid of what other people might think or say. And so that keeps us playing small. That keeps us stuck in our familiar zone. But if we want to be able to stretch, to learn, to grow, to try new things, and to have experiences that we never thought we could, or maybe the experiences that we know we always could, then we have to embrace our fear. As Dr. Susan Jeffers says, we've got to feel the fear and do it anyway. So next time you notice fear getting up in your way, don't necessarily ignore it or push it away or pretend it doesn't exist. Allow it and invite it in because it means that you're trying something new. It means that you're pushing yourself. And if you stay with that feeling and that experience, you will push through that fear zone and get into your learning zone where you're trying new things, where you're stretching yourself, expanding. And if you stay in the learning, you will eventually get to your growth zone. And that really is where the game of life truly is played. So this week, I invite you to get your brave on and think about one area of your life where you've maybe been playing a little bit small. One area where you've maybe been stuck in the familiar and you're ready to change it up. And then think about the fears that may come up. And instead of pushing them down, allow them to really come up and to surface and face them head on. Think about worst case scenarios. And I bet you'll find that they're not maybe as bad as you thought. And when you tackle and take on your fear head on, you will slowly then learn and get into that zone where you're expanding and trying new things and seeing what's possible, which will then lead you into your growth zone, your brave zone, as we call it at the Brave Institute. So I hope that you take that on this week, and I want to hear from you in the comments below. How does this model sit with you? What does it make you think about? What are you going to take on this week? And then let me know how it goes. And as per usual, I will be cheering you on. We'll see you again next time. And I'm Schulte, and it's time. It is time to get your brave on.